make a fun game to play, and then give people an option to investigate the story apart from the game if they want to.
Yeah.
So like
Hyperlight Drifter.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that, and it doesn't seem like a prerequisite that you have to understand the story at all.
No, but you also just kind of
more.
absorb it through context clues. And like if you, almost in a Dark Souls way, if you want to talk to everybody and see the little pantomime stuff that goes on, then you can start to make those connections yourself. But the game never says like, hold up, you're about to enter a dungeon, but we need to explain to you what happened in this dungeon before you got here.
Yeah.
That does happen man, this part's rough. That does happen environmentally, but it does it the right way? I don't know, it's interesting. Every time we talk about story in games, I get a few angry tweets from people who are insistent that story is the most important thing in a game.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. And
I guarantee you they built
Our
their sense of
lords have
narrative
left their
through games.
thrones,
yeah, that's
and must
the other
be
part.
delivered
People
to
that say
this
that
end
like
either
games have
by
good
side.
stories. Oh boy, you need to read more books.
I'm sure there was a generation of
Very
people
well.
who were like, yeah, like
Then touch
they
the
read,
dark
they didn't read any
nourishment
books, they only
from
watched
these
movies, and they're like, I can't read
sovereign
books. It takes too long to get through the story. There's too much description and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, it's called a book.
Yeah. What kind of is interesting is Stephanie's been reading 11/22/63, and we watched a bit of the show, and it like her brain popped out of her head because a lot of the characterization, obviously that's in the book, is completely absent from the show. Characters are boiled down to their one-dimensional identifiable traits, as opposed to these fully fleshed out, like really interesting, nuanced characters with a lot of depth and conflict.
It's like two different entertainment mediums.
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
have to make sacrifices for one of them.
Oh,
to
of course.
exist.
Well, also, how many pages is
That
Many.
book is massive.
it's like
But it-
1,000
yeah.
pages?
No, it's you have the space to tell
Yeah.
a more interesting story. So compare that to like a video game, which at most has maybe 20 total minutes in its runtime to compress all of its story into cutscenes.
May the
It's
flames guide
like
thee.
Gears 2. They had one scene to set up how much I'm losing his name. What's your bro's
Marcus?
name? No,
Marcus
they-
Phoenix?
Dom. How much Dom like loved and missed his wife. Yeah. And they did it kind of elegantly through the garden or whatever he was tending, but it's like that, and then cut like the only other scene is him cradling his nearly dead wife, and it's like that's the arc.
Another one.
And there's some
from
other
the
like
sleep of
intel and
death.
stuff, some emotional pictures you can get.
Well, you're
and all
not
that, but
alone.
Still,
We
I mean,
unkindled
it's not
our
anything
work
approaching a
was
real romance
going to
that
the
has like weight and
diorite.
gravity.
You're supposed to be shooting
Gives me
stuff.
conniptions.
Yeah, it's a video game.
And
You're
it
supposed to
have
play
us
it.
seek the lords
And it's
of
like
cinder
like
and return
Overwatch
to
is
their
I think the ultimate
mouldering
example
thrones.
of it's got so much game. And when you're in it, that's all you're doing. Aside from hearing little call-outs or little like map clues, which is brilliant by the way, because it only happens at the beginning when people are doing hero select. So the people who already know what they're going to play have a little thing to gnaw on while they're like listening to characters talk to each other. It kind of reminds me of Left 4 Dead in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty brilliant.
For me, I mean, obviously we're an older generation, so maybe I know I do. I think differently. I tend to find more enjoyment in nuance
Yeah.
and be able to go in and go. I like if James were to go, oh, did you know that like blah 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 character did this and this one thing, or like there's like a subtle reference here, then you go, I had no idea. That's really smart. Cool. I'd rather have that than the game blatantly tell me and just scream at me and go, you need to feel things. Because it just, I don't know, it feels more organic. I feel like games are just this different type of medium that you don't need to experience like a film.
I'm also, yeah, very much, like, again, adult with a job. So I have Netflix and Hulu, and so if I want narrative, I have a wealth of narrative that I can pull from if I want those things.
Brag
If I
more about
want a
your Hulu
game,
account.
Yeah.
like, it's not the commercial-free Hulu, though, so.
No.
But if I want a game, then I want to play it generally. And that doesn't mean that those kinds of things don't appeal to me. They totally do. Like you said, at the beginning of Overwatch, when Lucio's like talking to Symmetra about how he stole her technology and stuff, and I'm like, oh yes, God yes, this is gonna be so sweet. And then they'll even release short films, which mean that when I want to get my Overwatch narrative time, I can do it in the format that I think is better for it, as opposed to asking me to stop playing or whatever just to do it. It's just, but it's different perspectives. It's because I grew up getting narratives different ways, and I never expected that out of video games. Like I played Super Mario 64, which the whole narrative of that game is Peach writes you a letter and says, "Come get a cake."
Some of the pictures.
Get this cake.
He's like, get stars, gotcha.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, it's frustrating, and to tie it all back around, this is the same thing that kind of has me raising an eyebrow at Suicide Squad, is that I know for say for a game like Mass Effect, the storytelling changed, and it got a lot less subtle, because I know what happened is they had a focus group, and people were like, I don't get it. So they were like, okay, we want to make mass market entertainment. Now we have to change our vision to be more appealing to people. That's not wrong. It's fucking commercial.
It's business.
Yeah, it's commercial entertainment. It has to sell.
Yeah.
That's what it does. So I don't think that's bad. But when it comes to like my enjoyment of something, it definitely decreases when I can tell that somebody's vision has been altered for the sake of commercialism.
Pretty be careful.
I
go away.
like
I
gaming
don't want to
games,
see
but
my work
for me,
squandered.
the story makes or breaks a game because that's where my interest lies the most.
Really?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, you know the kind of games that I play. That's
Yeah, but
like a game like Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons that
That was
hits
great.
you with an emotional impact
But it hits
without
you
saying a
story
word.
through gameplay mechanic.
It does hit you through gameplay mechanic, but the way that the story and that intertwine is so masterfully done.
That's true. That's true.
for me, it doesn't make it or break it, but icing. It sells a little short, but it's basically icing on the cake. The best icing you've ever had in your life. So
I mean, I think you raise a good point with something like BioShock, where you're picking up audio logs and you're getting all that story, and it's not coming at the cost of the gameplay. Is very true. Because nobody wants to sit through giant cutscenes.
I just think there's
people like it.
creative ways to do it
Metal
that
Gear
don't
Solid 4, man.
compromise the initial
People-
concept or the initial intention, which is this is a game.
Yeah.
There's ways to do
Ah.
it, and again, just like Suicide Squad, just like Batman v Superman, just like anything that we have a critical eye on, it's not because the people involved are bad, it's because it's really, really hard to do.
Yeah.
It's easy to say
Yeah,
and
of
think of a way to do, but it's really, really hard to actually do.
I had a moment this weekend where I was unpacking everything and finally got my all my computer stuff set up, and I have Quantum Break just sitting on my
Quantum Break's
Xbox, and I want to play it, but it was like, okay, I'm like, it's on Xbox. There's gonna be some load times. Okay, that's fine. And I remember playing it when we went to that San Francisco thing.
Yeah.
And I just remember I'm like, there's 30 minutes of story I got to get through, and I don't care. Maybe you can skip it. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far.
The intro's a little long-winded. but
Yeah, and
it
I just don't-
sets itself up. I think the big difference is
I just want to play it.
Quantum Break actually has decent writing and acting, as
Yeah.
opposed to most story-focused games that just slam you with not great stuff. You can like it. That doesn't mean it's good.
You know what I did instead? Played Overwatch.
Nah.
Played a lot of Overwatch.
Quantum Break's intro is a little long-winded, but once the game starts, it's like exactly the kind of game that
I'm
doesn't.
thinking I want to play Overwatch on one monitor while Quantum Break's story plays in another.
That's what we're getting. That's the point we're getting to.
Yeah, because I want to just be entertained because I only have a certain amount of hours in the day
Right.
that I want to do, and I don't want to dedicate 20 of them to seeing Iceman hang out with Littlefinger.
When I was playing Mad Max, like that game has very minimal story, but there are cutscenes and stuff in it. And generally, when that happens, I pull out my phone.
I always do that, and then
play
I
like
feel
Marvel Puzzle Quest or
Yeah.
something.
Well, guys, if you want to be entertained, we have an offer for you. Our friends at Kinda Funny are doing Kinda Funny Live. That's happening on Saturday, May 28th and Sunday, May 29th. You can get tickets at kindafunny.com/tickets. Ironically, there will be more non-Kinda Funny members there than Kinda Funny members.
Take that,
It's
Greg.
a show,
Yeah.
right? That's like it's a variety show.
Yes.
You got your Tims and your Nicks and your Gregs and your Collins
You got
and
'em
your
all.
Adams and your Bruces.
And your Bruces.
And a Jeff, I
Bernies and
think.
your Gus's and your Jeffs.
Jeff versus Jersey.
And one other person, I think?
Sure.
Other
Who
people.
do you want to be there? They'll be there.
Oh, let's see here. Yeah, Bernie, Jeff, Michael. Michael's there. That's the one.
Okay. Michael's
Gus,
a person.
Adam and Bruce are all coming out to support the family. So if you are in the area, you should support the family too. Or hey, fuck it, get a plane ticket. Spend all the money on Kinda Funny. That's what we like to do. So that again, that's Saturday, May 20th, Sunday, May 29th at kindafunny.com/tickets. Probably be a great time. 2 days of entertainment. So get your tickets now.
Put the money on the funny.
And thanks for listening. Also, hey, if you enjoyed this podcast and you're listening to it on audio, maybe go give it a little rating on your podcast service of choice, be that iTunes or whatever. Give us some stars. Tell people what you thought.
I use Pocket Casts.
Hey, where's Omar?
He's beyond pod. Where is Omar?
Oh, Should we talk about what Omar's
No,
doing?
no, we shouldn't.
James,
Keep
I
saying
think-
that every
I think
week.
we should-
Where is Omar?
We should maybe
I
hint
wonder where Omar
done.
is.
At things.
We're done. Thanks for watching,
People are
everybody.
gonna be like,
Omar.
People are gonna be like, is
Or
Omar-
like, oh my God, he's
is he
missing.
quitting? Is Omar leaving too?
Speaking of fancy musicals, I went to see one of the. Well, here's a Joel thing I did. You're asking
man.
what I do in my free
Oh,
time.
boy.
Dana got me tickets to see A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder last weekend, which is a Tony Award-winning musical that we were not able to get tickets for in New York, and it was fucking
have a question.
great.
I have a
Joel's
question,
talking about
Joel.
all the identifiable things that 16
Hey, it's a Joel cast.
I
It's
have
a
a
Joel
question.
cast.
and-
Joel.
Joel, don't let Bruce extinguish your light.
And a
You shine
gentleman's
on.
guide to whatever it was.
I'm curious, how many musicals are not Tony Award winning?
Yeah.
Because I've never ever heard the name of a musical if it's not preceded by Tony Award
Let me
winning.
tell you something about Tony Awards.